Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Monday, November 20th. I just finished up trading for the morning and I locked in $368 in profits. I had one trade in the stock GPS, and in this video we're going to talk about my entries, my exits, and my thought process behind this trade so that hopefully you can take something from my trading and apply it to your own. Now this week we have Thanksgiving on Thursday, so the market is closed on Thursday. It also closes early then on Friday at 1 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. And a lot of times when we have these holiday weeks, the volume is going to lack a little bit and the momentum is going to lack a little bit. So I was being very picky with the stocks that I was going to trade this morning. That being said, I ended up avoiding all of the stocks that were gapping up from today, and I decided to focus on the stocks that were in the Market Master Group's trade plans. If we take a quick look at these trade plans, GPS was one of the top stocks to watch today from these trade plans that were posted over the weekend. And the reason for that is because there was a big gap and go last week on Friday after the company released their Q3 earnings report. Now, if we take a very quick look at this earnings report, we can see that they were estimated to report an earnings per share of 20 cents. They ended up reporting an earnings per share of 59 cents, which represents a 195% earnings surprise. On top of that, their revenues were estimated to be $3.77 billion for the quarter, and the revenues ended up beating the estimates by 4.22%. So all of that is a good sign for the stock, and that was kind of the catalyst that drove the stock up in the first place with that initial gap and go. So that being said, the trade plans here were that volume doesn't lie. There was clearly a ton of demand here, so I'm eyeing for a continuation on Monday. Key support here for the near term seems to be $17.50. So I'll be looking for a potential morning dip buy, assuming that level holds. Tight risk underneath and aiming for new highs to lock in profits. Where I got $17.50 from is we can just see that there are a few times it bounces off of that area throughout the day on Friday. On top of that, we have this high volume area here on the volume profile. The bottom range of that high volume area is right at $17.50. So if that level was going to hold, there's a good chance we would see it at least bounce up towards the upper range of this high volume area, if not push to new highs. And on the other side of the spectrum, if it were going to start breaking down underneath this high volume area, that's where the momentum would likely start to pick up to the downside. So that is why you want to have a tight stop underneath that area. Anyway, with all of that being said, if we take a look at the 1 minute chart, we can see it pulls back down to a low this morning of $17.51. So it comes within one single penny of where that level of support was at from Friday. It then bounces straight up, goes straight through the VWAP, and pushes up to new highs. So I bought in as it was starting to reclaim the VWAP here in the 1780s. In hindsight, of course, I would have liked to have bought into the 1750s and then maybe added some shares up as it was pushing, through the VWAP. But it was kind of trending down all morning, so I wanted to make sure that it was actually reversing from that 1750 area before I started to buy my shares. That being said, if we zoom into this range here, this was a pretty quick trade. I was only in it for, 20, 30 minutes or so. And right here at about 10:30 this morning, it starts to kind of trade sideways from that initial move to the upside. And if we zoom back out a bit, we can see that the area that it's trading sideways at is right at the highs from that opening push. So the highs up here are $18.26. This pushes up to $18.24 and then starts to kind of trade sideways and pull back a bit. So I was seeing that turn into a little bit of resistance at the time, and I locked in a portion of my profits because of that. With the rest of my shares that I decided to hold, I knew that if it started to break back down underneath the VWAP, I would have exited out of my shares and would have taken a small loss on those shares. But overall for the trade, it would have still been profitable because of the shares that I sold up here into that resistance. But with that being said, it did kind of just trade sideways for a bit, ended up making new highs, and then once we start to kind of pull back, reject this 1850 area and start to form some lower highs, that is where I sold the rest of my shares and locked in a total of $368 in profits on that trade. So if we take a quick look down here at the daily chart, this is something that I want to mention because this is a strategy that I've used time and time again, trading stocks that have reported positive earnings. But what's even more important than that is waiting for the stock to confirm the earnings are bullish. The simple fact of the matter is that a company can release positive earnings, but if there's no demand for the stock, the earnings are not on their own going to drive the share price higher. So you want to make sure that there is volume, you want to make sure that there is demand, and then that's where you can get these really solid moves from these earnings plays. On Friday, when those earnings were released for GPS, we can see we get this big gap and go, And more importantly, we get this massive spike in the volume as well. And if we take a look back at the intraday chart, there is plenty of demand every time the stock dips lower throughout the day. Those dips are bought right back up, and the stock was able to close up near the high of the day on Friday. All of those things set this up for a continuation on Monday. This wasn't just a blind setup. I wasn't looking to buy into this blindly. All of those things were factoring into this being a good buy opportunity today on Monday. All right, but anyway, that was my one single trade for today. Again, I locked in $368 in profits. Hopefully you guys were able to stay green today, and hopefully you found some value in this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want to hear about these stocks that I'm trading in real time and you want to work with our team of traders, get access to our day trade and swing trade alerts, our detailed trade plans, our live custom scanner streams, and so on and so forth, all of that can be found in the Market Master group. There's going to be a link down below in the description for you to get signed up. I also want to mention that this upcoming Friday is Black Friday, so we're going to be having a sale up to 50% off of the Master the Market programs. There is going to be limited availability, so if you're interested, please be on the lookout and make sure to be ready on Friday morning. Anyway, with all of that being said, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.